Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good day I greet to everyone. So today I am going to present the third task of TSLB3563, which is creative writing in the primary ESL classroom. So for this third task, which is the performance, the task given is the presentation of my digital media. So actually, for this task, um, it requires everyone to present a creative writing activity for the upper primary ESL classroom using digital media. So there is a criteria that we need to follow, which is the first one is artistic expression, a theme, and also values, sustainability, and also appropriacy. And I would say maybe I would say it's about delivery and also medium. And the last one is material and also graphics. So I don't want to talk about the guidelines because it's only for me. And before I continue to talk about my presentation, I would like to introduce myself first. So my name is Muhammad AMIN bin HASSAN BAKRI, and I am from PISMP TESL June intake 2023-2028. So now let's moving on to the next slides. So now let's moving on to the project identity and also a vision. So the big idea for this task is teacher mediated digital synthesis for creative writing. So the target group is year 4 primary ESL, and the curriculum framework, which is the KSSR revised 2017, and CEFR aligned, which is the DSKP. And also the most important part is the goal, which is integrating digital tools to facilitate creative expression through guided synthesis. So let's moving on a lot more. Alright, so now let's moving on to the DSKP learning standard, which is the main skill focus is for writing. And we have 3 criteria here, which is genre, activity, and also the learning standards. So we actually have created like 3 different activity and also 3 different genre and we have created some material on each. So the first one is prose on fiction, and then the name of the activity that I have created is the 4-panel time machine, and the DSKP that align with it is 4.3.1, use capital letters, full stops, and commas in list appropriately. The second one is prose but in non-fiction, and then the name given is the giant postcard, and the DSKP that align with it is 4.3.3, which is produce a plan or a draft of 1 paragraph and modify in response to feedback. And also the last one is poetry. So basically this one is they need to do something that related to poem. And then the name given is the shape of my week. And the CFR, the DSKP learning standard is 4.3.2, which is spell most high frequency words accurately. So Let's moving on to the next slide. So the chosen activity from three of the earlier activity that I have explained for each is poetry. I have chose poetry because I think that is I would say that it would makes my student or any other students uh, more interesting into our lessons. So the name given for this activity again is the shape of my week. Focus on module 2, which is my week. Alright, so now let's moving on to the overview for the chosen part or for the chosen activity based on that three earlier, which is poetry. And the name given again is the shape of my week. So the first point is the core concept. It is a multi-modal creative writing task that integrates visual arts and literacy. So basically, it moves away from traditional linear writing to a calligram, which is a shape poem, or the other name that we know maybe concrete poem format, where the text form a silhouette of an object. So basically here that the shape poem, I would say it would become very interesting because they write a poem in a shape of anything. For example, maybe in the shape of stars, or maybe heart, or other else's. So I would say that it would makes the lesson more interesting, and also they will like to know more about the poem because later they need to write it. It will make them feel to complete it as soon as possible because they want to see the shape, I would say. So the second point is the slow writing strategy. So the physical constraint of writing along a curve or jagged border acts as a speed bump for the brain. So when they slowly write on the border of the object of the shapes, uh, it would act as a speed bump for the brain because they can think slowly, and also they are forming a shape at the same time. So that is why it's called speed bump for the brain. And also this, I would say, deliberate reduction in writing speed forces student to focus on letter information and also grapheme accuracy. And the third point here is theme and personalization. So the activity is centered, as I said earlier, on module 2, year 4 module 2, my week, which is allowing students to connect vocabulary, which is the things that they already knows, days, hobbies, and also routines on their days in a week to their actual lives. So emotional mapping. Students choose shapes that reflect their personal feelings toward their week. I would say if I'm a sport person, maybe I'm choosing a boot or a shoes, sport shoes, or maybe football, so that it can represent how I feel, what I feel on my week. So for example, on the example here is a star for a successful week, or a cloud for a relaxed one, or maybe cloud but we cannot do a shape poem inner for a rain shape because it's a lot and it would become hard because it's rain. And also the last one is the digital, which is this activity is created using CodePen AI, which is a coding website. So the activity, I would say that it's gonna start with a digital input, which is the projected word wall, interactive word wall, and also the next one is transition to physical output, which is handwriting and also drawing on A4 papers. And also the last steps for this activity ends with digital archiving, which is photographing work for digital gallery to share with an authentic audience. Because this, I would say, this CodePen website is very it will make life as a teachers become more easy, because it's, I would say, has many strength and also benefits when we are creating something on this website. So let's moving on to the next slides. Alright, so let's moving on to the pupil level and also learning objective, because as I explained earlier, it's still not enough, because it's still, I would say, that an overview of these things. So the first point is target audience profile. So we have targeted I have targeted primary school year 4, which is lower primary, and I would say the level that they should be a CEFR A1 level, and the current ability for them, they should be students who are familiar with basic sentence structure but still struggle with the irregular spelling of high frequency words, for example Wednesday, Saturday, swimming, and a lot more of difficult words. And the learning objective here is spelling mastery, which is aligned with the DSKP 4.3.2, which is to accurately transcribe and spell high frequency words in the guided content with 90 to 100% accuracy. So this is my kind of understanding version, but the correct one is in the first one that I have told you guys. So it's not a big deal, so as long as we understand the learning objective of this activity. So let's moving on to the next slide. So now moving on to the justification for choosing YouTube. So the first reason is its universal accessibility and also cross platform compatibility. So I would say that YouTube ensures that the presentation that we are going to do, and also we have date before this, is accessible to the examiner and also audience regardless of their devices, which is mobile phone, tablet, or even PC or any other operating system. So these benefits of YouTube is actually, it eliminates the technical head edge of large file size or incompatible video format like MOV or MKV, instead of the normal one that we are using is MP4, that often occur when sending raw video files. So if we are not using YouTube, we need to download the video, and also the owner of the video need to send the video first. So it would become, I would say, more complicated than using YouTube. And also it will make harder for everyone to watch your video, because everyone need to download the video first instead. But if you are using YouTube, it would make everything easy for everyone to watch and also enjoy your videos. So the second justification is professionalism through high definition hosting, which is HD. So YouTube server infrastructure, YouTube system allows for high bitrate playback, which is we can set if the original graphic of the video is like HD or 4K, we can adjust the bitrate playback into like any other format. The lowest is 400, 480, 720, and also 1080, and higher and below and above, I'm sorry. So I would say that it is ensuring that the text on our slide remain crisp and also readable, the most important part. So I would say benefit of HD hosting here, that this preserve the visual integrity of your creative writing activity details, but and also ensuring that letter by letter accuracy I have mentioned, I'm gonna mention in my video, is clearly visible to the viewer or any other video before. So I would say using YouTube is one of the best option to do, because it supports everything, most of everything. So the third justification is asynchronous feedback and engagement. So the platform's built-in command and also timestamp features allow for specific feedback. So when we watch YouTube videos, we can comment on that post, on that video, and also we can look timestamp on what we are going to look for. It has timestamp features that allow for specific feedback. So the benefit of asynchronous feedback and engagement is, if the assignment requires peer review, others can comment on specific parts of my shape of my activity here, which is shape of my weight. So by referring the exact timestamps in the video, so I would say that, as I said earlier, it will make everything easy for everyone to watch your video and also to interact with your video actually. So let's moving on to the next slide. Alright, now I am going to do a short performance on how to conduct this activity. So there are 3 stages: pre-writing, while writing, and also post-writing. So let's start. So now we are going to see here the word wall with days of the week and common verbs, as you guys know, and just like, for example, play, go, and also visit, and a lot more. And now we are going to learn words by words. So as you can see here, it is very interactive material, because you guys can click on it and the audio will be played. The audio, how to pronounce, and also how to spell the words. So now each of you guys needs to choose words that you guys need to include in your poem. So now we need to practice how to spell the words and how to pronounce the words. Alright, so you guys are done. So now each of you need to choose one shape that you guys can see here, or any other shapes that you like. So let's try draw on A4 papers. So let's try. Alright, after you finish draw, we need to practice write our lines, the poem lines along the border, because now we are going to create a shape poem. Alright, so now you guys draw a large shape on your A4 paper. You finish now, and then write your poem on it. Maybe just one line, because maybe not one line, you need to finish it. You need to use the words that you can see on the spelling word wall here. Alright, you can look at the projector, no worries. Alright, everyone done. So now I'm still opening, the word wall is still open, so you guys can still look at it. But now we need to check on the spelling and etc. and everything on your shape poem. So now I need your finger, just only one finger, and then point on the word that you have wrote. So you need to compare it to the words on your paper to the words in front, which is on the word wall. Alright. Okay, everyone need to do it. Okay, it's done. Everyone done? And now the last part and the interesting part is you guys need to decorate your sheet poem. Maybe you can use symbols that are related to your poem, and also maybe you can use colors, pencil colors, to make it pretty. Alright, so everyone done. So the end. This is how to conduct this activity. It's very easy, it's very simple, because it's about poetry, because they just need to write and create a sheet poem based on the spelling wall that are projected in front. So let's moving on to the next slides, to the details of this activity. So now we can see this is the face or the image that you guys can see when you open the link as a full page view. So let's try the activity. So now I will click on the day,
Friday.
So this is the speaking mode. So let's go to the spelling mode.
F R I D A Y.
And
Friday.
And also we can repeat the spelling on the words. So when we click, so this is the vocabulary bank. So when we click,
G R
it will
A
help us
N
with the spelling.
D M.
So there, when the audio is played, is playing, I'm sorry, you can see there's a skip or stop button there. It's here.
G R
Skip. So all the words here, the audio, it has the audio in it.
E V.
Alright, so this is the spelling mode, and the next one is the speaking mode. Let's try.
Swimming pool.
Swimming pool. So it's very precise how to pronounce the words.
Every morning.
Every morning.
Rides a bicycle.
Rides a bicycle. So it's very, very nice. So this is
Friday, Saturday,
Sunday,
Sunday, Monday.
So this is all the features inside these I would say materials. So let's see how to open this again. So this is the things that will be showed when you open the link, and then you just click this button here, and then this is the full page view. Alright, so now it's open again. So I think that is all for the tutorial of this, how to use this kind of material, how to use my material. So I think that is all. Thank you. Alright, now so let's moving on to the detail on each part, each stages for this activity. So first part is pre-writing part. So I will talk about the instructional setup first. So the first one is access. So open the provided materials link. Second one is view. You need to switch to full page view to ensure that the interface or the screen is clear and usable for the whole class. You can refer the tutorial on the task 2 on the appendix part. You can see on my task 2, you can see the tutorials there, and also I have put a simple tutorial here. So you can see a yellow arrow on the first picture, and then you need to click the button or the symbols that the arrow is showed now. So click on it, and then something will be open, and then you just click full page view. You can find it there. So it's very easy. So basically, when you click the link, the page will open just like that. You can see a lot of coding code here, and on your right you can see just a blank part. You just need to focus on how to open it as a full page view. That's it. So the platform, which is the name is the name of the platform is the Interactive Concrete Poetry Studio, was a custom built on CodePen.io to provide a responsive digital learning environment. So basically, this CodePen.io is a coding website. We can create, we can code, and also we can code anything that we want if we know the coding. And then also it has many features that would benefit us as a teachers. So for the students learning action, for the word selection, you can see the second picture, that is the interface of the materials. You can see there. So let's moving on to the student learning action first. So for the word selection, pupils choose 5 target word or more from the digital word wall to include in their own poem later. So guided practice before starting the final project. Pupils practice writing these words in their exercise books or A4 papers to ensure that they can copy them correctly from the screen. And creative drafting using A4 paper. Pupils draw a large shape and write their poem line. For example, on Monday I go swimming along the border, constantly referring to the poetry studio to maintain perfect spelling. So this is the draft part or the pre-writing part for the students' learning action. So let's talk about the interactive features of this material. So it is digital word wall. You can see there it is display days of the week and a common verbs, and also it has sentence starters for the student to use. And teachers also can point to words to lead a rhythmic spelling drill. The features that are very interesting here is it's dual our audio modes, which is the spelling mode and also speaking mode. So when we click on the day, the letter inspectors, and also the vocabulary bank, the audio will be played, and it has 2 modes or features, which is the spelling mode. It shows and played on how to spell the words, and also the speaking mode. It's just help us pronouncing the word correctly. So basically it's very interesting for the students because they will hear a voice, also teaching them how to pronounce and how to spell the words. So it is actually a dynamic control, which includes a skip and stop button to instantly end the audio, allowing the teacher to control the lesson pace without waiting for the narration to finish, for the audio to finish. So it's very interesting. So now let's moving on to the next slide. So now let's moving on to the while writing part. So the first thing that the teachers need to do is visual demonstration. So demonstrate how to draw a large simple shape such as a star, cloud or heart to act as a poem frames. So you can see I have put the example of the shapes there, so you can use it later if you want to have the task or the material. So the body writing technique. So model how the concrete poetry method by writing a complete sentence. On Monday I go swimming directly along the perimeter of the shape. So spatial planning, so shows pupils how to rotate their paper or adjust later spacing to ensure the sentence fit perfectly within the physical constraint of the shape, so that everything seems very aligned and also beautiful at the end of their writings on their poem writing part. So the pupil section, so the first thing is they need the shape construction, which is draw a personalized large chosen shape on A4 paper based on the theme of their week or any other shape that they want to. So linguistic mapping, write their original poem lines along the border of the shape using the concrete poetry studio and also as a visual anchor. The next one is spelling verification. Frequently look up at the projected word wall in front for every word to ensure that 100% spelling accuracy during the drafting process. Also, they can ask the teacher to use the interactive material to spell it, to pronounce it for them. So just click on it and then it will help pronounce or spell. So hand-eye coordination, practice the fine motor control by adjusting the handwriting to follow the unique curve and also angles of their chosen shapes. So let's move on to the next steps. To the next part, I'm sorry. Alright, so the last part is the post-writing stage. So here, for the teacher section, visual continuity. So keep the concrete poetry studio or the word wall projected and clearly visible throughout the entire stage. So monitoring, so teacher need to move around the classroom to facilitate the self-correction process, ensuring the students are accurately comparing their work to the digital reference. So digital guidance, use the interactive spelling mode in the studio to recap any challenging words that students are currently auditing. So it's very important here that the teacher must walk around to see what are the challenging words for the pupils or the students. So for the pupil section, letter by letter audit, they need to use a finger to point every individual letter in their poem, conducting a one by one comparison against the projected spelling on the screen. So the self-correction, identify and rectify any spelling discrepancies immediately to ensure the final product meets the DSKP 4.3.2, which is standard for accuracy. So for the thematic decoration, enhance the visual impact of the concrete poem by adding colors and symbols related to their week. For example, drawing a football or play or school bag for Monday because it's first of the weekday. So basically here is what we call language arts, also inserting in this part of the material. So the last one is creative finalization. So ensure that illustration complement the shape of the poem, transforming the linguistic exercise into a piece of expressive art about their week. So I think that is all for the stages, which is the pre-writing stage, while writing stage, and also post-writing stage. So let's moving on to the last slide. So for the last page of this presentation, it is about how to get creative ideas from the students. So for the first point is choosing the shape. So we as a teacher need to show different shapes on the screen and ask the class which one fits their week. For example, was your week as bright as sun or as busy as stars? So they can choose the shape correctly based on their week, based on their preferences, and etc. So basically this helps students pick a drawing that means something to them. So the second point is connecting words to real lives. So when we as a teacher need to use the speaking mode in the poetry studio to play a word like play, then ask students to share what they actually do. For example, teacher, I click play. What do you play on the weekend? So students say football, games with my cat. So basically, it's also brainstorming the ideas in order to create a poem later. So the purpose of this is actually makes the vocabulary from the screen feel real and also personal. And as I said earlier, it will make them brainstorm even more in order to write and create a poem later. So the third point is using sentence starters. So teacher section, we as a teacher need to point to the sentence example on the screen, which is on Monday then we can just like give a simple example for them after the sentence starter, which is on Monday I went to school with my new bag, for example. So the student section, students say their sentence out loud before they start writing. Basically, this is a drafting part. They are discussing what they need to write, what the words that they don't know and they don't know. So the purpose of this part is give them a clear starting point so that they don't get stuck looking at the blank page, because this is actually a very good ideas for them, because it make them brainstorm, as I said earlier. So the last point is adding symbols and pictures. So we as a teacher need to ask students what small picture they can draw to match their words. For example, football, school bag, instead of the shape that they are using to write the poem, they can also decorate it with any other shapes, any other object that they can draw. So the purpose of this here is this encourages students to add their own artistic touch to their writing. So it will mix not only about writing but also about arts. It will make them more interested to learn even more later. So I think that is all from me for this presentation. So again, I would like to thank each of the person who are going to watch the video and also who are watching now. Thank you for your attention, and feel free to ask or give feedback or comments on this video. So I think that is all from me, Muhammad Al-Amin bin Hassan Bakri from PISMP TESL June intake 2023-2028. Thank you so much for joining.